Get ready for the next chapter of the Dutton legacy. In the official Yellowstone spinoff trailer, Beth and Rip face a life-changing decision that could redefine their future. As emotions run high and new challenges arise, will they find the happiness they've longed for? Watch now to catch the first glimpse of their thrilling journey in 2025. The fitting end for the ranch. Episode 13 of Yellowstone's 5th season, Give the World Away, doesn't hold back as the season's second-to-last chapter. As expected, the episode hurried to tie a lot of loose ends and also to create a possibility of a sequel or another season for the beloved show. And for once, Taylor Sheridan tries to take things smoothly. Well, almost. With only one episode left, the stakes are sky high, and this installment does the heavy lifting to guide the characters towards closure while tackling the weighty challenges of the season, especially after that mid-season cliffhanger that had everyone buzzing. At its heart, the episode focuses on the Dutton Ranch's spiraling financial crisis, a plot line that's been brewing since the start of Season 5. Now it all comes crashing down. There's plenty going on, some of it critical, some of it not. But Taylor Sheridan keeps his eyes firmly on the show's bigger picture. Fans have heard the Duttons lament their money problems for what feels like forever. And this episode finally trades words for action. Give the World Away delivers the consequences audiences have been waiting for. Rip Wheeler feels the pressure like never before, grappling with the cold reality of loss. The horse auction becomes the emotional centerpiece, driving home the ranch's decline with the crushing visual of an empty stable. It's a gut-wrenching moment for fans who've stuck with the show for years, a stark reminder of just how much the Duttons have to lose. Sheridan nails the balance, letting this gravity take center stage while weaving in moments of quiet humanity. Beth and Carter share a heartfelt scene, and Rip's bond with Lloyd adds a dash of warmth to the otherwise bleak landscape. These softer moments don't just add depth, they make the heavier beats land with even more impact. But not everything hits the mark. Beth's detour to Texas to visit Travis Wheatley feels like a wild left turn. Travis is living it up, supermodel Bella Hadid, strip poker, the whole circus. And while it's meant to show off his over-the-top personality, it clashes hard with the episode's serious tone. Sure, Rip's later explanation to Beth about why he's friends with Travis is supposed to justify the chaos, but it still feels like Sheridan letting loose for one last joyride. Even so, the detour doesn't derail the episode. Give the World Away knows when to bring the drama, when to step back, and when to pack an emotional punch. It's a raw, heartbreaking setup for what promises to be a finale viewers won't forget anytime soon. Fans were also relieved to see that the ranch would pay its final respects to its former caretaker, John Dutton. And yep, cue the waterworks. John Dutton's funeral. Amid the chaos of the auction, Kayce Dutton delivers a quiet but powerful blow. He tells Monica and Beth that the medical examiner's office has released John Dutton's body. Monica immediately steps up, offering to bring him home from the coroner, while Beth shifts gears and begins planning her father's funeral. It's a brief moment in an episode packed with high-stakes drama, but emotionally, it's monumental, and it's clear this is a cornerstone for Taylor Sheridan as he builds toward the Yellowstone finale. For fans, John Dutton is the ranch. He is Yellowstone. His funeral isn't just another plot point. It's a seismic event, one that recenters the story of the Dutton family and their legacy. Thematically, it's a perfect full circle. The second half of Season 5 kicked off with John's murder, and now this chapter of the series is set to end with his burial. It's a poetic choice, but it's also a savvy one. By making John's funeral the focal point of the finale, Sheridan ensures that fans, especially those who may have tuned out after Kevin Costner's departure, have a compelling reason to return for one last goodbye. But the funeral does more than give us closure to John's story. It sets the stage for the future of Yellowstone. If Sheridan wants to continue the series with the current cast, John's death draws a clear line between the past and a potential rebirth of the ranch. Rip even hints at this when he confides in Lloyd about the hope of rebuilding. On the other hand, if Sheridan opts to move forward with an entirely new cast, John's funeral also acts as a definitive farewell to the Dutton family as we know them. It's a strategic, bittersweet move, one that gives fans both a sense of closure and a spark of curiosity about what's next. Lo and behold, episode 13 of season 5 does exactly what fans asked for. Give them a reason to believe that the show would be returning once again. How episode 13 begins a new future. Give the World Away sets the stage for some definitive resolutions while leaving just enough loose ends to keep things interesting. Jamie Dutton finally steps out of the shadows, seeking advice from his ex-girlfriend Christina. A promising move considering how sidelined he felt in the previous episode, Counting Coup. Let's face it, watching Jamie spend the finale frantically fielding phone calls would be a massive letdown. Meanwhile, Kayce doesn't mince words about his intentions, making it crystal clear that he's planning to leave the ranch with his family. For anyone still holding out hope for a change of heart, this episode shuts that door firmly. If this truly is the end of the Dutton saga, episode 13 offers enough closure to make it feel complete. That said, fans know Sheridan isn't ready to hang up his cowboy hat just yet. With the Madison on the horizon and 2 Yellowstone prequels already under his belt, there's plenty of room for the story to branch out. The most straightforward and admittedly cliché path would be for the Duttons to pass the ranch to the family featured in the Madison, creating a seamless transition. But Sheridan isn't one to take the obvious route. Paramount could decide to keep the current cast in play, and the ranch might end up in the hands of a younger Dutton, symbolizing a new beginning for the family. Or, and here's a wild card, what if Rainwater took over? His shared commitment with John to protect the land could provide a poignant twist, giving Gil Birmingham's character a larger role in the story's conclusion. One thing's for sure, Sheridan knows how to keep his options open. Even if not every fan agrees with his choices, Give the World Away proves he's playing the long game. And if nothing else, viewers can rest easy knowing they're headed toward a satisfying conclusion, no matter where the story rides off to next. At least, that was our biggest takeaway from the episode. And staying true to the subtle hints he drops, Sheridan has made an official confirmation. Yellowstone would be making its way to television once again, but not in the way you'd expect. It's time to step out of the delusion and start accepting the fact that John Dutton's verse is finally wrapped up in the Yellowstone universe. Now, there are other emerging players in the game, and it is everything we expected and more. The Yellowstone spinoff is confirmed. The Yellowstone universe is about to get even bigger, with a freshly announced spinoff focusing on Beth and Rip. As the main series, launched in 2018, grapples with its final act, this new project offers fans a chance to keep the drama alive. While Yellowstone itself has been a massive cultural force, the road to the back half of season 5 hasn't been smooth. Kevin Costner's headline-grabbing exit cast a shadow over the show, and it's clear that the original series is winding down. But where one chapter ends, another begins, and this spin-off proves there's plenty of life left in Taylor Sheridan's modern Western empire. In the days leading up to what many believe is Yellowstone's final episode, it was confirmed that Beth and Rip will be at the center of a brand new series. Though the specifics are still hush-hush, the show is set to pick up after the events of Season 5, Part B. Fans can expect the fallout from the series finale to loom large over the new storyline. And while details about returning characters remain up in the air, it wouldn't be surprising if a few familiar faces popped in alongside the powerhouse couple. Beth and Rip have long been fan favorites, so it makes sense that Sheridan is betting on them to anchor this next phase of the franchise. So far, the spin-off doesn't have an official name, and its plot is being kept tightly under wraps, likely to avoid spilling any finale spoilers. But its announcement casts serious doubt on rumors that Yellowstone might get a 6th season, making it likely that Season 5's finale will officially close the book on the main series. The timing is no accident. Sheridan and his team know that Beth and Rip's turbulent, fiery relationship is one of the show's biggest draws, and putting them in the spotlight for a continuation feels like a calculated move to keep fans invested. This latest spin-off comes alongside the Madison, another Yellowstone offshoot in development, though it's unclear if the two stories will connect. Sheridan has built a sprawling universe with his Yellowstone prequels and spin-offs, and he's clearly not slowing down. He remains the driving creative force behind the new series, which gives fans hope that the tone and style of the original will carry over into this next chapter. For longtime viewers, the Beth and Rip spinoff is a promising way to extend the Yellowstone experience without losing what made the show special in the first place. While it's bittersweet to see the flagship series come to an end, this new project feels like a natural evolution. The Duttons might be closing one chapter of their legacy, but with Beth and Rip at the helm, there's no doubt that the Yellowstone story is far from over. Fans have loved watching these two navigate chaos, love, and loyalty, and now they'll get to see what's next for them in a whole new light. Plus, we'd also be seeing some familiar faces. This Beth and Rip-centered spinoff isn't the first time Yellowstone has branched out. The first big expansion was 1883, a prequel that followed the Dutton family's tough journey west in the 1800s. That was followed by 1923, which dove into the family's next chapter as the Wild West gave way to the modern world. While 1883 wrapped up as a one-and-done miniseries, 1923 was so popular it scored a second season. So far, those are the only Yellowstone spin-offs to actually make it to the screen, but there's more cooking behind the scenes. Take the 4 Sixes Ranch spin-off, for example. It was announced a while ago, but there's been no word on its progress for years, leaving fans wondering if it's still happening. Then there's The Madison, another spin-off revealed in 2024 that's slowly coming together. It's unclear how or if The Madison and the Beth and Rip series will connect, but they're both set in the Yellowstone world, so anything's possible. The announcement of this new spin-off makes it clear that even though the main Yellowstone series might be wrapping up, Taylor Sheridan isn't ready to let go of the world he's built. Fans who've loved watching the Duttons fight, love, and do whatever it takes to protect their land now have even more to look forward to. With Beth and Rip at the center of this new chapter, it's bound to be another wild ride and a fresh start for Yellowstone fans. But things are rarely civil in the universe of Yellowstone. As per fans, Sheridan is simply milking the Yellowstone world without paying heed to the nuances of the story. Many believed that the show should have ended with John's death and the ultimate fate of the ranch. But nope. Sheridan has another story to tell, and fans aren't very convinced that it'll pack a punch. Some even say that the spinoff won't work, and it is going to be another tedious journey for beloved characters only for Sheridan to never give them the respect they deserve. Yikes! Yet some ardent fans believe that the spinoff can work, actually, only if Sheridan is smart about his casting choices. Will the spinoff work? The announcement of the Beth and Rip spinoff offers fans a major sigh of relief. Both characters will survive the Yellowstone finale, airing December 15th. For those worried about whether one or both might meet a tragic end, the spinoff guarantees their story isn't over. And what a story it's been! Rip and Beth's intense, fiery relationship has been one of the show's most captivating threads, so it's no surprise that they're carrying the torch into a new chapter. But as exciting as this new series sounds, there's one essential element it needs to succeed: Carter. Fans of Yellowstone will remember Carter, played by Finn Little, who joined the show in Season 4. His introduction was heartbreaking. After losing his father, the orphaned teenager wound up at the Dutton Ranch, where he quickly became entangled in Beth and Rip's world. Though the couple made it clear they weren't looking to be surrogate parents, and even warned Carter against getting too comfortable, it was obvious they cared about him. Over time, their tough love approach softened, and Carter became a quiet but crucial part of their lives, even if they'd never admit to seeing him as family. Now, with a spin-off focused on Rip and Beth, it's hard to imagine their story moving forward without Carter. He's become an extension of their dynamic, adding depth to both characters. Bringing him along for the ride would open up opportunities to flesh out their unconventional bond, allowing audiences to see Rip and Beth navigate not just their own chaotic lives, but also their role in shaping Carter's future. Unfortunately, Carter has been sidelined in recent episodes of Yellowstone, as the show pivots toward wrapping up the Dutton family saga and addressing John Dutton's death. Carter's most notable moment in Season 5 comes when he spooks a horse, leading to Colby's tragic death. A brief scene that doesn't do justice to his potential. Including him in the spinoff would change that, giving him the screen time and character development he's long deserved. With the conclusion of the main series likely freeing Rip and Beth from the relentless drama of the Dutton family, the spin-off could give them and Carter the breathing room to explore their evolving bond. Whether they acknowledge it or not, Beth and Rip have become Carter's de facto family, offering him the stability he never had. This new series could finally highlight that dynamic, creating a fresh narrative while staying true to the heart of what makes Yellowstone resonate with fans. For the Beth and Rip spinoff to feel complete, Carter has to be part of the equation. Not only would it tie up loose ends from the main show, but it would also give fans the chance to watch this unique, makeshift family truly come into its own. And here's why. How Carter helps Beth and Rip. Beth Dutton, like the rest of her family, has had her fair share of struggles throughout Yellowstone. But what makes her character stand out is that she's always fighting to be better. She spent so much of her life battling anger, but with Rip Wheeler by her side, she finally has the steady support she needs. Rip, on the other hand, is the calm in the storm. He takes life one day at a time, rarely letting anything shake him. Together, their relationship has had its tough moments, but it's become surprisingly stable over time. However, just like any relationship that's been around for a while, it needs to change to stay fresh and engaging. That's where introducing a kid like Carter comes in. Bringing Carter into their lives would force Beth and Rip to adjust their dynamic and keep things evolving. Parenting offers both of them an opportunity to grow in ways they wouldn't expect. Beth, for example, has always struggled with her anger. When things get hard, she reacts quickly, sometimes without thinking. But being a parent requires patience, restraint, and tact, qualities that Beth has yet to fully embrace. Having Carter around could help her practice these traits, and not just for his sake, but for her own growth too. By learning to be a calm and steady figure for him, Beth might finally find the peace she's needed all along. Rip's journey could be just as transformative. He's always been reserved, rarely letting people get too close. While he's protective of Beth and loyal to John Dutton, he generally keeps his emotions in check. Raising Carter could give him the chance to open up more, allowing Rip to grow emotionally in ways he never has before. It would also be a chance for him to follow in John Dutton's footsteps. John took Rip in when he was a boy, shaping him into the man we see today. Now, Rip has the chance to do the same for Carter, helping him become the strong, respectable person he is capable of being. It's full circle for Rip, and a big opportunity for him to step into a fatherly role. This new chapter in Beth and Rip's lives will let them grow beyond where we've seen them before. With Carter in the picture, they'll have to navigate the challenges of parenting, forcing them to face new emotional territory. It's an exciting shift for both characters, and it'll give fans a chance to see a new side of Beth and Rip, one that shows their evolution as people and as partners. The addition of Carter could bring a lot of depth to the spinoff, letting viewers see how both Beth and Rip transform when they start raising a child together. It's a whole new journey for them, one that will help them grow in ways they haven't before. Plus, the Yellowstone fans desperately want to see their beloved Beth to be happy, even if it happens in the spinoff. The pursuit of Beth's happiness. Beth Dutton's story has always been one of tragedy, but in the wake of her father John's death, her emotional journey is finally becoming clear. From the time she was a little girl, all Beth ever wanted was to feel loved and needed by her family. Unfortunately, her parents' way of raising her didn't really foster those feelings. Her mother, Evelyn Dutton, was tough on her, often belittling her and making her feel unworthy of affection. Evelyn's harshness was meant to make Beth stronger, but instead, it left deep emotional scars that Beth had struggled with her whole life. When Evelyn died, Beth desperately sought out her father's love, hoping for the emotional connection that was always missing. Although she was her father's most loyal ally, he never gave her the kind of affection she craved. It wasn't until she met Rip that she finally found someone who truly loved her and showed her what it meant to be cherished. But even with Rip by her side, tragedy struck over and over again, and the loss of her father in Season 5B's premiere seemed to shatter any hope Beth had of ever having the loving family she dreamed of. Despite this, there is still a chance for Beth to find happiness, even after Yellowstone's final season, and it might come from an unexpected place, a child she never thought she'd have. John's death, while tragic, also marks the end of the toxic hold he had over Beth's life. As much as she loved him, John was partly responsible for the trauma Beth has lived with every day. With him gone, Beth is finally free to pursue the life she's always wanted. Although she's unable to have children of her own, due to her forced sterilization by her adopted brother Jamie, there's still the possibility of building the family she's always dreamed of. Rip and Beth may have found that in Carter, the young boy they could raise together. By raising Carter with the love and affection neither of them experienced as children, Beth can finally fulfill her dream of creating a loving family and break the cycle of emotional trauma that has plagued the Duttons for generations. The upcoming spin-off centered on Beth and Rip offers a chance for the Duttons to leave behind a legacy of love rather than one built on pain and control. By embracing Carter as their son, they have the opportunity to create something healthier and more hopeful than the legacy of the ranch ever could. Speaking of family, would we see Kayce in the anticipated spin-off? Well, it depends on how his secret plan to save the ranch turns out. Kayce's bid to save the ranch. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 12, Kayce Dutton makes a bold move, threatening Grant with a counting coup, a gesture of revenge and protection for his family. By the time Give the World Away rolls around in Episode 13, Kayce returns home to Monica with news of his plans. He tells her that he's ensured the safety of their family from those responsible for his father's death, and that he's figured out a way for them to leave the ranch. However, Kayce is clear that before they can leave, he must first protect Yellowstone. But he's not ready to fully reveal his plans just yet. He teases the idea to Beth, but it's only later in the episode that he starts to drop hints about what he's really planning. In the final scene of Season 5, Episode 13, after the auction, Beth is hopeful, having raised $30 million. But Kayce, always thinking several steps ahead, asks her a peculiar question. He proposes a hypothetical situation. If Beth were to sell her $300,000 car to him for only $1 and register it, would the sales tax be based on the $1 she received or the car's actual value? Beth, caught off guard, responds that the tax would be based on what he paid for the car. At this point, Kayce still isn't revealing much about his plans, but his smile and the way he gets into his truck make it clear he's not done. As Kayce drives off, Beth begins to catch on to what he's getting at, realizing what he might be implying. She quickly chases him down and asks, "Who?" Kayce cryptically responds that he needs a day to make sure. After a brief heartfelt exchange with Beth where she thanks him with a kiss on the cheek, she leaves, and Monica, who's in the passenger seat, presses Kayce for more details. Kayce explains that to save the ranch, they may need to give it away, an idea that seems as bold as it is risky. While Kayce remains tight-lipped about his full plan, the clues start to piece together. In the season finale, it's hinted that the Duttons might have to part ways with the Yellowstone Ranch to protect it. But who would be willing to take it over for practically nothing? One possibility is the Broken Rock Reservation. With Chief Thomas Rainwater and Mo notably absent from much of Season 5 Part 2, their return in the finale might signal a potential deal with Kayce to save the land from falling into the hands of companies like Market Equities, who have been a persistent threat throughout the series. If Kayce does strike a deal with Rainwater, it would not only keep the land in safe hands, but also forge a deeper alliance with the Duttons and the Broken Rock Reservation, potentially changing the course of the Yellowstone legacy forever. So are you excited for the spinoff? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel.